Hello, Ashley here. This is a very special episode. The doors to Systems Over Stress are open. Systems Over Stress is my 12-month group program that helps coaches automate the onboarding, offboarding, and resign process of their signature group program in just 30 days, and also helps them add incredible support features to their program to help them get better client results faster. It is an incredible program, and it is open until Friday, October 27th at midnight Pacific Standard Time. This is a replay of the webinar I did last week called The 3 Simple Systems That You Need to 3x Your Group Offer Sales and Triple Your Testimonials. I am super excited about it. I wanted to make sure that you knew that the doors were open and that you were able to listen to this masterclass replay on the go. So please enjoy this episode. And if you have been listening to the podcast and you have been liking what's on here, you're going to love what's inside of Systems Over Stress. It's a 12-month program, $2,500. Your ops team member can go through it on your behalf. You can totally delegate this. It is such an incredible resource. It is the best resource for using Airtable and learning to master Airtable to manage your group program. So if you have any questions at all, you can check out the sales page. The link is in our show notes. And you can also DM me on Instagram. I'm at Systems Over Stress. So I hope you enjoy the masterclass. Welcome y'all to this masterclass, the 3 simple Airtable systems you need to 3x your group offer sales and triple your testimonials. I am so excited. So in this masterclass, you are going to learn the Airtable systems that you need in place before your next group program launch. So you're prepared for a large client influx that doesn't sacrifice your student experience or stress your team out. We're going to walk through how Airtable can help you and your team do their jobs faster and more efficiently by creating one-click workflows, student progress dashboards that eliminate any manual data entry. If you're an ops person or you have ever made an ops person like create and generate all of these reports and CSVs that are out of date, like the moment that they are exported, no more of that. We'll be able to do all of that automatically with Airtable, which is really exciting, helping you eliminate manual data entry tasks and more. So there's no need to increase your admin hours as your program grows. We do want you to have co-coaches and we want you to be able to grow your team, but we want to make sure that you're growing your team in the most strategic way and not just having them do busy work that Airtable and automations could do for you. Next up, you'll also learn the automations you need to not only just streamline the operations of your group program, but also improve your student experience so you can get your clients better results faster. You can increase your student renewal rate and really make your marketing easier than ever. We have real-time client screenshots in here to show you how you can actually use the data that you start to collect in your marketing in really, really cool ways. Hey, Dama, great to see you in the chat. At the end of the masterclass, no surprise here. You are going to be invited to join my group program, Systems Over Stress. It's going to help you set up everything that we talk about and more. So just some expectation settings. You are not going to be an Airtable expert by the end of this masterclass. That's not the point of this workshop. It is not like a tech tutorial workshop. Instead, I want you to leave excited about all of the possibilities that Airtable can do and provide for you in your business. And then, of course, I want you to join Systems Over Stress so you can learn how to set up the intricacies. So please use the chat. I will be able to export this chat so I can like catch everything, but it's going to move fast. But also feel free to DM me on Instagram. During the launch, the cart's going to be open for a week. My team is in my inbox. I am on Instagram. So if you want to shoot me a voice memo or if you want to chat with me after this workshop, going straight to Instagram is the best way to connect with me. Feel free to take a screenshot, upload the stories, tag me, we'll reshare, shoot me a DM letting me know what you think. I am here to continue the conversation. So you're here, you're in the right spot. If you are a coach or operations team member with a growing group program, mastermind, or membership, you used to be able to keep everything in your head, but your program is getting too big for that, or your business is getting too, like there's too many things going on in your business, right? Manual tasks are just filling up you and your team's time. You're toggling between all of this different tech, trying to export reports to get any data. You're toggling between all of these different pieces of software just to onboard one client, and you just want things to be way more seamless than they currently feel. And maybe you see these other group programs doing all of these other cool things like detailed results tracking or high touch student check-ins, or like how are they automating my feedback reviews into Slack? There's like all of these really cool things that group programs are doing now. Spoiler, it's most likely because they learned it from me. So if you're wondering how they do it, we're gonna share those secrets too. So some of you filled out, most of you actually filled out our like, where are you at in your Airtable journey when you join this masterclass? And I thought this was interesting. This graph has changed significantly over time since I've been doing this work. I've been teaching business owners about Airtable since 2019. And it used to be almost like 60% had never touched Airtable. Now we only have 23% of you have never touched Airtable. 35.8% of you currently use Airtable to run your group program, and 40.7% have tried before and got overwhelmed, or you're kind of using it and you feel like you could use more support. So this is a really kind of fun, it's a fun group to be with. So we'll try to kind of capture everybody. Let's see, Dama said, true story. I run my group programs the way I do with Ashley's program help. Thank you, Dama. So what you want to have the go-to program in your niche. We work with the best in the industry. You are the best in the industry. You want the best group program in the industry. If you want that, you're in the right spot. But you really want to make sure that you keep the intimacy of your program, and you're afraid that maybe growing will compromise that. You're not interested in growing super big if that means that like your clients are going to like have worse results along the way, right? And you also just want to trust that your systems can handle your next big launch. You want one software that can handle a lot of students and grow with you. That's the biggest thing that I see is a lot of people get into kind of like a tech, like they get, I'm going to say paralysis. I don't know if that's the best word to use, but kind of just they get frozen because they don't know what tech to choose, if they want to grow, if they're going to have to move off of something when their group program doubles. With the systems we're going to walk through today, your program will be able to grow with you regardless of how big it gets. You just don't want to be seen as one of those coaches who charge high ticket but don't deliver on what they promise on their sales page. You want to be able to back up your marketing with receipts, and you want your program to not completely rely on you to get your clients' results. You love your clients, you love supporting them, but you don't want to be spending hours and hours and hours answering support tickets and coaching calls and all of those things as your group scales. You can see a world where you have co-coaches running your program. If that's you, you're definitely in the right spot. Love it. And let's see, Tina said, is it right to do before you launch a group program or haven't even started yet? Tina, that's a great question. Whether you have had a group program for years or whether you are just getting started, systems over stress and these systems that we're going to talk about are a great fit. Honestly, if you haven't launched your program yet, you're in a better spot because you get to start fresh anyways. So you get to those first people that get onboarded into your program, you are collecting the right data from them from the start, which is really, really nice. So if you have a group program, if you already have a group program, you'll probably feel like, oh, like maybe I wasn't asking people the best questions in my onboarding form a year ago, and now things have changed. Like you can really just, if you're starting from scratch, you're in a great spot because you're just going to be able to have a really strong systems foundation. So a little bit about who I am and my story. My name is Ashley Pendergraft. I'm an Airtable and systems expert. I live in Los Angeles. I have been the coaching industry's Airtable girly since 2019. We've helped over 270 clients through VIP days, workshops, this group program to help set up Airtable to run their businesses. I have worked with some of the biggest and best seven-figure coaches in this industry, and I am the one that introduced Airtable to them. So I'm really proud of the impact that I've had on the industry. We are now becoming the system standard, and Airtable is really the system standard. And I'm really honored to have raised the standard for the industry when it comes to systems. So my story, when I started 2018, 2019, when I was first starting my business, systems and automations were not optional for me. They were really required for my success because if you don't know me, I am depressed as hell. I have so much ADHD. And even as a neurodivergent business owner, the most normal business tasks were fucking impossible. I do cuss, so if that's a problem for you, sorry. I would forget to send like follow-up emails after sales calls, which would cost me thousands of dollars and make me feel super guilty. I just like couldn't do the normal things of like Money Mondays where you look at your numbers each week and like do all of that. I couldn't do it, and it made me feel really bad about myself. But I also didn't have the funds to hire or outsource yet, right? Like I couldn't hire an ops person for thousands of dollars a month to do things for me. I really had to figure out like a creative solution. And I was also afraid to grow my group program and grow my business in general because I didn't feel like I could maintain my high standards of client experience as I grew, because I was afraid if I had too many people floating in my brain that someone would get missed. Every day I would wake up feeling like a bad business owner because things kept slipping through the cracks. And I really felt like I needed to stop shaming myself and create centralized and automated systems that worked with my brain. I was diagnosed with ADHD during the pandemic, and that actually just gave me a lot of, and I'm sure many of you, some of you in the chat have probably experienced this as well. Just having the diagnosis helped me be like, oh, right, I can't productivity my way out of this. Like, this is a part of me. How do I figure out how to like make my business and life like work around this? People are saying you're literally describing me. Feel that? That's where I'm right now. Yeah, I feel you. But honestly, when I started to use Airtable, my life completely changed. I didn't expect to get emotional. That's really funny. I've never cried about Airtable, but Airtable really was the only solution that could centralize everything for me. It worked with my brain. It could automate admin tasks and helped me see just everything in one central spot so things couldn't get missed. Airtable became my first team member. And then when I hired, I was able to easily onboard people and just have them walk into systems that were already working for me, instead of, if you've ever hired someone to try to get all of the stuff out of your brain, you're spending so much time just like untangling all of these things that are swirling in your brain. But with Airtable, it's all in one central spot. So whether you're a team of one or you're about to hire, it's really helpful to have all of your data in that one central spot. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the systems that I was creating to just help me get by were actually the foundations I needed to really help me scale. Because neurodivergent or not, there is no way I could have manually kept track of all of my clients in my head as my business and my client roster started to grow. I have just seen too many business friends hit a breaking point with their systems or their lack of systems when their group program started to get bigger. They couldn't keep up with the workload that came with more students. They were swamped with manual admin tasks and they felt more stressed out than ever. They weren't excited during their launches because they were like, nobody's getting the right things and nothing is working. And they were just like, please, like, stop growing. Their spreadsheets would work okay for a while, but then when their client load doubled, everything broke because they didn't focus on their systems. And like, it only takes a couple minutes to send out a client contract or update a spreadsheet each week. That kind of mindset really caught up with them. And even if you're like, my program, I don't have that problem, like, sounds like a champagne problem to me. Like, even if your program hasn't seen a wild influx of students, we do want to prepare you for it, because if you can avoid that, that's what I want for you. We know, I really believe in the potential that group programs have and that your program has to be the best in the industry. So we want you to build your program with a strong systems foundation so it's ready for you to grow. Friends don't let friends run their group programs without Airtable. This is like the hill I will die on. Systems really are the only reason I've been able to scale my group program and business on part-time hours without sacrificing client experience or burning out. Because I already had systems, I wasn't afraid of my launches. I am not afraid for everybody in this chat, everybody who signed up to join this program, because I know that it doesn't mean that there's going to be more manual admin tasks on me or my team's plate. And I want you to feel the same. All right. See, Dama said, my automations were my first team member. I might cry about that. Oh, it's so sentimental. Okay, y'all, let's dive in to the main mindset that people have when they're growing their group programs. The biggest thing, and I'm curious if anybody feels like this, but as I was growing, I was like, this is stressful and I'm going to fuck this up. I was so afraid of fucking it up. I was afraid of fucking up my reputation. I was feeling like if I grow, people are going to slip through the cracks. If I grow, my clients won't get as good as results. And those feelings, those thoughts really created feelings of like stress and anxiety and imposter syndrome and perfection. And they showed up in ways that don't serve me and they don't serve you. So if you feel like this low level fear of like, I'm going to mess this up as I grow, you stay small. And of course, you sell fewer spots. You cap your program and you say no to extra sales because you don't think you can maintain that high level of intimacy. Or if you also feel like you're shaky in your systems, you're going to be shaky in your selling. If you are afraid that you're on the other side, your students won't be taken care of, you're not going to show up like fully on Instagram Live and be like, this is the best damn program that exists. If you don't feel like that because your systems can't deliver, then you're going to be shaky in your selling and you're just not going to sell as hard, and you won't fill out your client roster and you'll wonder why. You'll also spend too much time spinning out about tech and less time focusing on what matters. When I hear people be like, it's taken me 3 weeks to figure out what course platform I'm making, I'm like, girl, you could have been doing so many other things and then signing up for trials of course platforms and database softwares. You could be dreaming of new curriculum to get your clients better results, but instead you're spending weeks debating on what tech to use and sign up for all the free trials, and you're still not sure if you made the right decision, right? So I want you to ditch the thought of, I'm going to mess this up, and I want you to replace it with the right systems, I am safe to grow. So how that shows up, if you really feel like you are safe to grow, some other thoughts are like, my program gets better as it gets bigger. My program is the best in the industry. I know my systems aren't going to fail me, and I feel confident with my tech. So having those thoughts is a much better feeling. You feel excited, you feel curious, there's potential, there's servitude, there's confidence. Like, I would much rather feel like that about my group program than feel like the shaky imposter syndrome that can really come with the territory. So when you're feeling like this, when you're feeling like you're safe to grow, you're not afraid to log into your software. You know exactly where you need to go to get the information you need about your program to make more sales and track your testimonials. There has been times in my group program, I am not perfect with this, but like, I've been afraid to like log into my platform because I'm like, I'm pretty sure there's people in here that shouldn't have access anymore, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole yet. So like, I'm just not gonna look at it. Like, it can be very avoidant, but when you believe that your systems have your back and that you're safe to grow, you can just like log in and get the things that you need. So you don't have to spend hours on support chats trying to figure out why things aren't working as they should. You don't have to spend hours looking up how-to videos. You aren't frantically asking which spreadsheet is up to date, because you just know that everything is where it should be. And this is my favorite thing. When your systems are on lock, you get to dream up new ways to get your clients better results. Your brain will be bursting with new lessons to create and new features to add to your program to get your clients more results. So you don't wake up in the middle of the night being like, did I send a contract to that person? And instead you're like, if I gave them this feedback form, this would help them solve the problem that they've been asking me. Like, I want you to be in that type of problem solving creative space than worrying about if everybody is like getting the right onboarding materials. You don't put a limit on your program or its impact. This is so important. I really believe in this industry. There's been a lot of like negative talk about the coaching industry and about group programs. That's because y'all have bad group programs, because you don't have the systems. Like, we've all been burned by bad programs. But when you have a good program that has great systems, I really believe that you can help. I want you to help as many people as possible, because your systems support you. So you can make better content that attracts more of the right people. You make more sales, you impact more clients, you change more lives. That is why we are here. None of y'all, I'm sure if you're in my orbit, are trying to have a program where you're like, I don't care about my client results, I just want to make money. Like, no one's here for that. Money, we're here to make money, but we're not here to make money solely. So I used to say systems are boring. Fuck that. This is so fun. Like, this is not boring at all. The stuff that systems let you do is just so exciting. So let me know how this is hitting in the chat. Someone said, so happy to hear that more people are using Airtable. We're ready to hire our next team member to help run our group programs, and it's hard to find people who know the platform. Yes, there are more people that are using Airtable, and there are also more people. What's really fun too is y'all are now demanding that your ops team members know Airtable. That is a direct like impact of this industry, and to see how things are shifting. Before, like, knowledge of Airtable wasn't on people's job descriptions, and now if you're an ops person, it is such an incredibly valuable resource, like skill set to have. So if you really know how to use Airtable, you will become like indispensable in this industry. All right, let's get into the 3 strategies, the 3 systems. So the first thing that you need to do to get everything organized in Airtable and get all your data centralized is you've got to track your students all in one central place. And that is your Airtable group offer hub. So Airtable, if you haven't seen it before, it is basically it's like a beautiful, way more advanced, fancy spreadsheet. It's a database. So we need your data. You need all of your student data to live in one central place, and that's going to be your group offer hub. It makes sense that you feel all over the place about your group program clients if you don't have a central source of truth to track them. So before setting up and organizing all of your students inside of Airtable and your group offer hub, you may be keeping track of your clients in random spreadsheets, in Google Forms, in ClickUp, or your like all-in-one platform. I'm going to talk. This is where I get a little opinionated. Your spreadsheets are trash. I don't care about how beautiful and design and, you can make a very pretty spreadsheet, but you shouldn't be managing a group offer inside of a spreadsheet. You can't scale a group offer with a spreadsheet. There are so many moving parts of a group program, and there's so many moving pieces of your data. Spreadsheets can't talk to each other. Airtable can. So a spreadsheet is not the fit for managing a group program. Your all-in-one platform is lying to you. You need Airtable regardless of whatever course platform you're on. So if you have Kajabi, and Kajabi does some cute automations and Kartra does things, doesn't matter. It's not an all-in-one. What it doesn't do a lot of things, but if you think that like, hey, I'm on Kajabi, hey, I'm on Kartra, do I need Airtable? You do. They cannot hold a candle to the things that Airtable can do when it comes to like analyzing your data or automating other pieces of different software into your centralized like group offer hub. So no all-in-one platforms, you still need Airtable as well. ClickUp is your to-do list, not your client hub. I just gotta take a breath because ClickUp is, their marketing is doing the most to try to get you all to like manage everything inside of it. And it is actually, it's messier than a spreadsheet. Truly managing your group program inside of ClickUp, there is more like detangling and demessing to do than if you just did it in a spreadsheet. It's a to-do list. It's a project management system. It's not a database to help you really like have a central source of truth. That's why you still feel unorganized when you try to manage client records or profiles inside of something like Asana or ClickUp. It's just not built for that. So if you have tried and you're just feeling like you're hitting a cap or things are feeling frustrating and organizing, it's not your fault. You're just in the wrong tool, and they're doing their hardest to market it as the tool for the job. So it's not your fault, but Airtable is a better fit. Notion is pretty. So many of you in the like, what questions do you have? Is like, what's the difference between Airtable and Notion? Notion is pretty, but it is not nearly as powerful as Airtable. Notion disguises itself as a database, but you will quickly wish you ran your group program on Airtable if you try to put it in Notion. Use Notion for other things. It's great for like documents and wikis and things, but really managing your group program, it's not a fit for that. So we can get into that further in a Q&A, but it's pretty, but it's just not as powerful as Airtable. Yes, Brandy, you're allowed to love Notion. A lot of people love Notion, but you won't love it for the things that specifically we set up and how you manage a group program in Airtable. It can't compete. Before your group offer hub, you never actually know what's accurate or up to date. You may be keeping all of your client progress in your head. Your team members have to ask you about special exceptions you've granted in the past, or like dig into your customer service email. This has happened to me when I was like, I promised someone 3 months of extra access before I used Airtable. And then my team is like, why is this person why is this person so mad that they got offboarded on the other day that they were supposed to? And it's like, oh shoot, sorry, I told you that they had an extra 3 months. Like all those special exceptions that live in your head or live with team members, and then those team members go, you have one place where all of that lives. You're barely keeping up with the current clients you have, and the thought of like doubling, tripling, or even 10xing the amount of clients you serve seems impossible. But after you set up Airtable and after you set up your group program hub, you have one central place where everything about your students and your group program lives. So you have one place to train your team. That's huge. Your team can answer any customer service question that's thrown at them without having to ask you a thing. That's huge. You can grow your group program without feeling like you're far away from your clients. This is big, especially as like I mentioned, when y'all first got here, I was like, oh my God, this is the first time that like I don't know the majority of you in the chat. There will be a time when you don't know everybody personally in your group program, but that doesn't mean you have to feel far away from them. Because of Airtable and because all of their wins, their struggles, their feedback forms, their results are all at your fingertips inside of Airtable, you can help them better as their coach because you can spend time. Really, there's still intimacy. And I think that's really important, that your program can grow and you don't have to know everybody personally, but you can see all of their data. You can see everything at your fingertips, so you can still help them as a coach. So this is Gina. If y'all know Gina, she is incredible, but she is a group offer hub power user. She has 2 programs, 6-figure saver and 7-figure wealth. Over 2023 alone, her students have saved $2 million. She saved $2,033,766.30. How does she know that? Because she tracks all of her students' saving wins inside of Airtable. They fill this out every month, and they're excited to fill out and tell the program how much they save, because she really looks at this. She calls it an insight gold mine. So she has her clients submit their saving wins, and she can see it all in Airtable. So she said, not only do I know what question each person has asked, I also see exactly how much money they've saved and when. And she's had this set up for about like 2 years now. And she still boxes me and is like, oh, now I can like cut the data. Now I can sort the data by how much on average coaches save versus artists save. And there's so many different ways that she can like splice her data and see it for marketing purposes, instead of like just like trying to like pull random Google Sheets. So before I move to the next section, I'm going to check the chat. I saw someone say something about task management, so I'm going to check that out. Let's see. Yeah, Dama said, I love Notion for a lot of stuff, just not the database stuff. Yep. Notion is cool as like a quick page builder, hosting affiliate swipe copy, all of that. Melina asked, has anyone found success for using Airtable for task management, not product management, but actually day-to-day tasks? It's the only thing I need to use another system for. Jasmine uses ClickUp. Some people use ClickUp. I used to use Airtable for a long time. It was really great for simple. It's a good like simple task management system. I did recently move to ClickUp for task management because that's what it's made for. But there's totally ways you can use Airtable for a task management system. But I did find that as my team was growing, it was nice to have like an actual project management software, instead of kind of like making it work in Airtable. But if you just need a simple task management system, I preferred Airtable when I was just starting, because I felt like ClickUp and some of those bigger project management systems were like too big for just me and like one other team member. So I found Airtable as for like group program management, you won't grow out of. For product management, you might hit a cap, and then you might want to move to one of the systems that it's like truly designed for. Cool. Awesome. Great. That was helpful. Let's see. And someone said, ditto, I tried the database bit in Notion, and while it works, it's so clunky compared to Airtable. Yeah, exactly. Just way clunkier. Fantastic. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do to 3x your group offer sales and triple your testimonials, this is very related. You need to automate your onboarding, offboarding, and resign process so you can focus on your client results and focus on your sales. So if you're evergreen, you have people coming in and out of your program at different intervals. Evergreen means that people can enroll anytime. Having a team member manually follow up with clients about resigns or about offboarding reminders can be a constant job. And if you're open and cart close, you just have a lot of work coming in at once. So all of those little admin tasks that only take a couple of minutes per client just become a lot when you're in a launch. So our launches are not stressful. My team is chilling. Like, they don't have to add extra hours. One of my team members actually cut her hours during a launch because she was like, everything is fine. We don't need these additional hours. Like, everything is automated. You're spending more time in admin work than actually coaching your clients in the program. If that's you, we definitely want to just like make onboarding, offboarding, resigns automatic and streamlined, so you just don't have to think about it. This is the biggest thing. You are leaving money on the table because you don't know who's up for resign and when, and you're just not asking for resigns. When I didn't have an automated resign process, which I will tell you, it takes you literally 5 minutes to set up. Before I had it, I just wasn't asking for resigns. And there was a couple of reasons. One, I didn't know who was up for resign when, but also like, I am anxious. And like, to ask someone who I haven't talked to in a while of like, hey, hope you like the program. Do you want to keep going? I'm like, they're going to tell me that they hate me. I was like, that's what I'm signing up for. So I was like letting my feelings get in the way of my resigns, when like people totally, one, were not mad, two, would have happily resigned and paid, but I just wasn't asking. And Chile, yeah, there will be Airtable screenshots later. So before your automated offboarding, onboarding, resign, students are surprised that they are removed from your program because they forget when their time in the program is up. That's huge. Even if they get offboarded on the day that you promised, you'll get those emails that are like, why was I removed? Why did I just get this? Like, you don't want to like surprise people by getting offboarded. Students are left in your Facebook group after they were supposed to have their access revoked. And it's not a nice thing. It's just awkward. Like, I've been in that where I still get the tags and the event invites, and I'm like, I am not supposed to be in here. Then you have some of your onboarding process automated. So some of us, especially if you've had a group program already, you probably know what Zapier is. You probably feel good about like having an onboarding automation that's getting them some of the pieces, but your team is still wasting time on things you didn't even know that you could automate. And this one, y'all, this is more than just systems related. This is also strategy. You're asking random questions in your onboarding form that have nothing to do with your program. Like, why are you asking for their mailing address if you're not sending them anything? It's just like silly things. You're asking random questions, not the right questions, and questions that aren't related to your program promise. And you're not even looking at those questions. So they're just gathering dust in your Google Drive, which is a big waste of your client's time. Let's see, Jasmine said, I got 3 new resigns because of Airtable automations, made multiple 4 figures without me or my team having to think about it. Jasmine, I gotta get that as a testimony from you. So after you automate your onboarding, offboarding, and resign, students are effortlessly onboarded into your program and they get everything that they need in a matter of seconds. First impressions matter. You really want to make sure that you and your team are freed up to focus on supporting your clients, and that your students are excited and they just feel like, damn, I just made a good business investment. They can just they can dive right in, they can get started, they can get the things that they need, and they can start working on the results that you promised them. Having to spend even like a day going back and forth because the email didn't get sent, or because they still like they're waiting on somebody to wake up to add them to the Slack channel, whatever, those things, like if we can eliminate that, we should. After you set this up, you're making literally tens of thousands of dollars. Jasmine is a proof of this, in resigns without lifting a finger. Students are getting proper heads up about their time expiring in the program, and that they're really clear on their offboarding date. So clear is kind over here. We love to give them the option, and we have copy in the program that's like, hey, if you want to resign, here's the steps. If you don't want to resign, here's exactly what's going to happen. You'll be removed from this. Here's how you can make the most of your remaining time in the program. Like, it's really helpful to be really explicit there. Students are removed from what you promised. So simple, but really important. And you're able to look at your onboarding form data and see trends that are going to help you strengthen your marketing and improve your curriculum. So this is Jamie. She has a program called Workflows for Tax Pros, and her program grew 300 students in 9 months. So before working with us, she didn't have a central place where she kept track of her students. She set up her group program hub in just 2 weeks on her own before her launch, and she had a seamless onboarding experience for her students. She opened up her cart, everything was good. Students could select their name from a dropdown on the onboarding form, and all of her clients and their data is now 1 click away for review. So she said, having my group program all managed in Airtable keeps me from having to bounce around and keeps me super efficient. My Airtable hub not only tracks my sales, but also my customer experience and makes sure that no student slips through the cracks. I can't imagine where my life would be without Airtable, Ashley's Airtable expertise and support. So nice, so nice. Okay, let's check the chat before we move on to the next section. Tina said, I want to do a group program partnered with a subscription box, thinking how I can use it for a subscription box. That's cool. Yeah, Tina, there's so much, I mean, especially with subscriptions, and some people, we actually have a bonus about this in the program. Some people send like welcome boxes, or like they literally send physical things when students join the program, and using Airtable for keeping track of like tracking numbers and was it sent, and like a lot of those different things. It's really important to have like to know if you promise something, especially a physical thing, you want to make sure that that got delivered and when it got delivered. And so Airtable is like really easy to keep track of those things. Yeah, Dama said, I hate when they ask me for my mailing address or phone number and they're not sending me a present. Exactly. I'm like, if you're asking, we used to ask, and we used to send cards. But then no one ever like said, it's not that no one ever said no one ever said thank you, and no one ever like posted them on Instagram. I'm like, I don't think people care about these. So we used to ask people who had the intention, and then we removed it. But yeah, let's see. Beautiful. Awesome. Cool. The third strategy is we want to track your client results and add scalable program features to your program that get your students better results faster.
So when you have a better program, you're going to have more testimonials and you're going to make more sales. Before tracking your client results and creating these scalable program features in Airtable, you don't even know the clear result that you're promising or tracking in your program. This sounds wild, but truly, and even me, and we went into this in a podcast episode recently, when we started looking at our group program from like, what is the clear, measurable, like marketable promise that Systems Over Stress delivers, it was very vague and it was kind of fuzzy. Like building an impactful business, that's fuzzy. We want to be really clear on what you are promising and what you're tracking inside of your program, even if you think that your program is like unmeasurable. So we've had like sex coaches have like sex coaching group programs here. We've had pickleball coaches. We had like a lot of people that don't just have like make more money, lose weight, like very numerical things. If you don't have a numerical thing that you track, there are still other ways that you can make your client results really clear and measurable and marketable, because you want to make sure that all of the claims that you're making in your marketing, you can back those up. So before going through Systems Over Stress, you might feel like you have a good group program, but what will make it even amazing, like a better group program, is figuring out exactly what the things are that you're tracking, what the results are that you're promising, and how you're tracking those results. You're waiting on clients to post random wins in your Slack channel and shower you with compliments instead of actually tracking if your clients are getting the results you promise. This is something I was guilty of. I'm like, yes, I love the people that like, I love a wins wall. I think you should keep that. Absolutely keep that. But those are not the same as proving that your program promise and the things that you're promising your clients actually work. People can say, Ashley is amazing, she's the best at Airtable, but if they don't have their onboarding, offboarding, and resign process set up, then like the program isn't doing its job, if that makes sense. Before tracking, you can't back up your program promise with facts and receipts. So I was just saying, how many of your clients are getting the results you're promising? How fast? You don't know. Gina recently was trying to figure out like how much do people save on an average, like in the first like 6 months of the program and 7 days of the program. She was able to find those numbers instantly, and she's able to like possibly refine her program promise even more. So her program is Save Six Figure Saver. She can say, yeah, we help people save six figures. But now with her data, because tracking, she can say an average of 75% of people save six figures within 6 months. Like she can get that granular, and that can help you refine your program promise, because if you're saying something, we want to be able to back it up with receipts. This one is real for me. So you get someone saying that they don't like your program, and you go into an imposter syndrome spiral because you don't have the data to back up your work. So if you have someone coming into your inbox saying, I hate the program, I got terrible results, you're a terrible teacher, that can really fuck you up. But if you can go back to your Airtable hub and see all the data and be like, oh, this one person said this, like, what can I take from this to make the program better? But here's like 75%, 80%, 90% of people are getting the results in this program. So you can let the outliers be outliers, but really rely on your data to kind of keep you grounded and neutral. And before this, you have cool ideas for features to add to your program, but you don't know how to make them happen. And you feel awkward every time a launch comes around because you don't have any new testimonials to add to your sales page, and reaching out to your clients feels like kind of sleazy. But after tracking your client results in Airtable, you can look at the data at any time and see exactly where your clients are, so you can make better curriculum to support them. You're clear that your program gets results. So even if someone tries to question your character, you've got walls and walls of receipts showing that your stuff works. And your marketing is easier than ever because you simply have to show your receipts. And you have a strong systems foundation. This is huge. Any idea you have about improving your program is easy to implement. Like I said earlier, I don't want you to even be thinking about your onboarding, offboarding, resign process that much. I want you to get that set up so you can start dreaming about all of the different ways that you can support your clients in your program. So here are ways that some of my clients use their Airtable data for their marketing. So this is Roma. She has a sales system. And so you can see these are just like, she just uses screenshots from Airtable. So total class you've collected, 7,500. How are you celebrating yourself? What are thoughts that created this? Like she just posts those right inside of Instagram. This is Kirsten. She has a program called $1 Million Email. She does a little bit more like branded things, but you can see she pulls their headshots, and she has like down to the dollar how much her students are making. And this is Alora. She has a program called the Wedding CEO, and she uses her data in so many different ways, which is really cool. But over here, she is showing that in August, her community made 87,000. She's showing that in the year, her clients have made over like 500,000. She uses the data in a bunch of different ways. So there's so many ways when you start to track your results inside of one central place inside of Airtable that you can use and utilize the data. Checking the chat. Let me know if you have any questions. Someone said, so pretty much what separates Airtable from Notion are automations. Automations, the database capabilities, and there's interfaces and like charts and reporting. There's like a lot of visual stuff there. Lily said, I was one of those coaches. My dating program needed measurement, and SOS helped me create a measurable client results process, and my clients love it. Yeah, Lily is a fantastic example of someone who does not have a standard, like measurable program promise. She teaches people to have a joyful and confident as fuck dating life. Incredible. But what she does is she didn't want to like count how many dates people went on every month, because she's like, that's not the measure of a confident and joyful dating life. And so what we did with her is we came up with a really beautiful, cool, unique like rating system. So when folks join the program, they're able to say like, on a scale, like on this scale, how joyful do you feel about your dating life? How confident do you feel about your dating life? And then as they go through the program and they do some of her challenges and the activities, they're able to submit again. And then she kind of has like a bingo card. And once they do an activity, then we say, okay, cool. Like how joyful and confident do you feel after you did that? And now we're going to be able to watch as we see, okay, they started here and they're ending, like their confidence scale has jumped 2 points, 3 points, whatever. So there's so many unique ways that you can track and measure your program promise, even if you think it's impossible. Let's see. Tina says receipts. I like thinking of client results in that way. It's sometimes easier to get an ROI. Yep, totally. Let's see. Great. So let me see. My biggest question is if this is the right course, if my primary offers are lifetime access courses rather than limited run group coaching membership offers. Totally. There's going to be a lot that you can use in this program inside of Systems Over Stress. We'll get into that. But you might not have an offboarding and resign process, but everything else you need. And technically, if people fail their payments or if they want to leave, you still do need an offboarding process of some sort. It might not be the standard one of like a fixed amount of days, but there are different ways that you could definitely use that. So to recap, I want you to stop thinking scaling is stressful and I'm going to fuck this up. And I want you to start thinking with the right systems, I am safe to grow. So the 3 things that we want you to do: track your clients in one central place, which is your Airtable group offer hub. Please don't do it in a spreadsheet. Please don't do it in ClickUp or Notion. Do it in Airtable. We want you to automate your onboarding, offboarding, and resign so you can focus on your client results and your sales. And then I want you to track your client results and add scalable program features that help get your students better results faster. So focusing on your systems is going to solve every scaling problem in your group program. You don't have a sales issue, you don't have a marketing issue, you have a systems problem. If you focus on your systems problems, all of those other problems are so much easier to figure out. Focusing on your systems is going to give you the confidence that you need to go big during your launches and know that your students are going to be taken care of on the other side. And focusing on your systems will 3x your group offer sales and will triple your testimonials. So we're getting into the sales side. You might be thinking, can I set this up? What the fuck is this? What does Airtable even look like? You really can set all of this up in just a few weeks. Airtable is like Legos. You can build anything with it. And that's why over 40% of you said that you've tried it before and you've gotten overwhelmed. You can build anything, but you have to know what you're doing for it to look right. It is not a plug and play solution. And Airtable doesn't care about us. They don't care about our industry. They are have stated they are going after big enterprise accounts and small businesses they're just not focusing on. So they're not going to give us free templates for group programs. It's just not going to happen. It's not a plug and play solution, which is probably why you've gotten confused and overwhelmed in the past. Most people either overcomplicate their Airtable build or they just make a glorified spreadsheet. And that's why it's so important to work with an expert with Airtable instead of just starting from scratch. So if this is interesting to you, I'm going to share all about the program now. So Systems Over Stress is our 12-month group program that helps coaches create a seamless client experience and double their collected client results. Inside of SOS, you'll automate the onboarding, offboarding, and resign process of your signature group offer in just 30 days. So someone asked, Sammy said, I have a membership program that I'm launching in a month. It'll be 6-month or a year commitment. How long will it take me to set up Airtable before my launch? 30 days, or honestly less. It really just depends on, we have like a 30-day checklist, which I'll walk you through. But that's just giving you plenty of space. There's only 6 hours of recordings. You could totally set this up in a weekend, depending on your tech skills, but our promise is 30 days. Yeah, Jasmine said I set mine up in 2 weeks for a new offer. So these are the modules inside of Systems Over Stress. Also, shout out to Jasmine. She is our designer, and her team. I just love our new branding and everything. So our modules, we have a welcome module, support resources, and then we just truly walk you through setting up application automations, setting up your onboarding automations, and then setting up your offboarding and resign automations. Once you set those up, you are invited to apply to the Client Results Club. So I'll walk you through what these modules look like now. And if you want to join systemsoverstress.co/SOS, I'm going to drop that in the chat. Ooh, okay, great. So I'm going to go deep dive into these modules. I'm so excited about this. We have truly re-recorded everything from this program has been around for like 2 years. We've taken every question, every confusion that clients have had and totally re-recorded and simplified everything for you to be able to set this up. So in our Welcome and Foundation module, our first module gives you everything that you need to feel grounded and prepared for your time inside of the program. So we have, of course, how to navigate the course and access our support features. We have our onboarding form, but we also have a 30-day course completion checklist. Like I said, there is a basic kind of minimum viable stuff that we want you to walk through. You can literally copy that checklist into your Airtable account and basically manage the process. So you know exactly what you need to set up and what you can skip and what you can set up later. We have specific advice for you depending on if you're an ops person or a CEO setting this up. So either way, if you're the operations person, we'd love to have you. If you're a CEO, you're welcome to set it up as well. If you have a team, we do recommend you just delegate because we love a delegating CEO. However, you can totally set it up as a CEO, and we give you advice for how to navigate the program either way. We also, this is really big, and this is something that I'm so happy we have a full lesson about setting you up for success, what to do when you get stressed or stuck in the program. So it's called Systems Over Stress, but setting up new tech is stressful, especially if you've never done it before. There was a learning curve. So we really walk you through some like mindset tips, but also logistical things to do of how to feel when you're walking through your setting up your systems. And if you're getting overwhelmed, some of the logistical things there. There's that. And then before you start setting up your systems, we have you do 2 really important audits that, like, honestly, will say all of this is like, everyone says this, like, this is worth the cost of the program alone. But really, having a tech stack audit so you feel confident in your tech stack before like setting all this up is huge. And then a program promise audit. So we want to walk you through how to update your program promise to be measurable, even if you think that's impossible. We walk you through all of the different pros and cons of different software. And we have like a red, yellow, and green light system to really walk you through, like, this is a great software. Here's what we really don't want you to change and move off of too much tech if we don't have to. But we really want to make sure that you feel like the tech that you have is the most scalable as you grow. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you have a program promise that is measurable. So you're able to submit both your tech stack and your program promise audit to us. And me and my team will give you personalized feedback and just like give you the go ahead. So you have a strong foundation before you set up your system. Then we have our support resources. So whether you are a systems beginner or consider yourself a systems expert, we have many systems experts in the chat here, which I love to have. We'll make sure that you have the foundational knowledge and also common language that we use in the program so you're ready to start building. So if you've never touched Airtable before, we have an overview of the group offer hub. So exactly what the tables look like, just orienting you onto what we have. And then answering and giving you pros and cons of if you already have a group offer hub, do you need to start over? Airtable glossary and important terminology. So if you are totally new, we walk you through not only the basics, but also how they apply to group programs. So we're going to talk about the linked record field and why it's so important for group programs. So it's really tailored to how you're going to be setting up the program. And then also helping you answer what plan you should be on and how many accounts you should have. We cover all of that as well. We also have an automations 101 section. So how to think in automations, when to use Airtable automations versus when to use Zapier, what to do when you've reached your Zap limit, how to troubleshoot automations without freaking out. This is a huge one. If you are a CEO, if you're an ops person, it does not mean that the sky is falling just because you get a Zap error. They're actually really helpful. I call it like our most like neurotic team member. It's like they just want to like let you know that something's up. It might not be like the most like the best timing, but they'll always let you know that something's wrong, and they really can help you. So we'll walk you through how to troubleshoot both Zapier and Airtable automations as well. We've got you automating your application process. So from a one-click application review to automated acceptance and rejection emails, this lesson is going to help you streamline your application process. So the basics, how to know if you even need an application or not. A lot of folks have an application, but maybe they don't need one. We've seen the industry shift a little bit, and there's just like, you don't necessarily need an application, but if you do, we've got your back. So we help you decide on your application questions and build your form out. Automate your application review process and next steps email, including auto accepting and rejecting people based on custom criteria. So if you say they can't, I'm going to auto reject them if they make less than 50,000 a year or whatever, we can make really tailored, crafted, automated emails based on your certain criteria. Creating interfaces to review applications. So it's really easy for whoever has to review them to just see what they need to see and not get like super overwhelmed into the back end of Airtable. And then, of course, literally how to embed your application and then also test it so you feel really good moving forward that it's all set up. And then we got bonuses. So sending reminder emails to those who've accepted but haven't joined. We'll walk you through how to do that. And then also how to see your application conversion rates. So there's so much in this program. We really went deep instead of wide. So we're really going deep on all of the ways that you can really make the most of Airtable for your application onboarding and re-sign processes. Next up, we've got automating your onboarding. So your onboarding is so much more than making sure your student gets into the right course. In this lesson, we make sure your onboarding experience is as simple and strategic as possible, so you can really see where your students are at when they're starting your program. So the basics, this is so big. And some folks mentioned in the chat, they listened to some of the podcasts we've talked about this. We really want to transform your onboarding form to make it way more results focused. We don't just want to ask bare minimum questions. We really want to make sure that you know your student's starting point when they join your program. And that's really where you can make the most of your onboarding form. Setting up automations to create projected payments and monthly recurring revenue in Airtable. We have barely touched on this, but this is magic. We all have seen the spreadsheet that is, or made the spreadsheet that it's like every month and you put the person's name and then you like fill out their what's it called? Like how much that they're supposed to give you each month. And it just gets like really out of date. It's really cumbersome to manage. With Airtable, truly automatically, as soon as a student joins your program, their automatic payments for the different months are going to be forecasted and automatically update inside of Airtable. It is magic. So we'll also help you set up automations to deliver and track pay in full and time-sensitive bonuses. So this is actually something brand new to the course. Any Systems Over Stress alumni, this wasn't in the program before, but I'm really excited because almost all of us have pay in full or time-sensitive bonuses, but we don't really track the delivery of them. So whether that's just a group call that you're doing, or if they get a custom review or anything like that, you'll really be able to keep track of those things and make sure that everybody is gets the deliverables that they were supposed to get. We also walk you through setting up your automations to create your Airtable student profile and getting instant access to everything they need, including if you send contracts, if they need to get into a community platform, anything like that, and then testing all of the pieces of your onboarding before flipping it live. So bonuses here, importing past student data into your new group offer hub. So if you've had a program for years, how do we get all of those past historical people into your group offer hub? We'll walk you through that. How to send a student a copy of their onboarding form responses, how to remind students who haven't filled out onboarding in X amount of days to fill it out, adding a why did you join form onto your checkout thank you page, which is going to give you so much incredible data, and then creating an onboarding form trends dashboard. There is so much here. Like onboarding is so much more than just making sure that they get into your course. There's so much we can do with your onboarding. Let's see, my mouse went away there. Okay. There we go. Automating your offboarding and resigns. So this lesson lets you set and forget your offboarding process so you never have to worry about people lingering in your program. Your systems are going to honor your boundaries for you. That's big for me. So sending a reminder 30 days out with their next steps, automatically updating their end date if they renew, automatically removing from everything if they don't renew, how to offboard students if you have a membership or the ability to self-cancel, how to create an automation to force the removal of a student because of failed payments or because they violated a terms of service thing, whatever. We'll be able to show you just how to easily with one click move people from there. And then once you set up all of those, so those basics, onboarding, offboarding, resigns, once you set up those foundations, you're going to be able to apply to our client results club. And that is our treasure trove of resources to improve your client experience and get your students even better results. So that is client results tracker, making the most of your group Q&A calls, setting up a support ticketing system, personalized feedback reviews, organizing your one-on-one calls. There's so many different things that you can do with Airtable to really improve your program. So with our client results tracker, we're going to walk you through how to decide what to measure, what to track in your group program, how to create that form, how to automate the delivery of the rewards your students get when they reach the program promise. This is very meta because we basically walk you through how we get you into our clients results club. That's our version of the reward system. How to announce your new results tracker to existing students, how to create a culture of submitting client results, because it doesn't matter if you have this form, if people don't fill it out, then it's pointless. So how do you really create a culture of submitting client results? How to use those client results in your marketing, what to do when your students aren't submitting their results, and then also how to set up a student results dashboard so you can see all of those results. Next up, how to make the most of your Q&A calls. So how to take attendance on your live calls, how to have students pre-submit questions before the call, how to create a searchable Q&A call database, and how to create timestamps for your calls. So many of us have calls. That's been like a given in programs, but we have so much incredible coaching inside of those calls, and we have the replays, but like no one is going through your hours and hours of replays to like catch a couple gems. With these systems, you can really create a really robust searchable Q&A call database so people can see exactly, they're like, oh, I have that question and Ashley answered it 2 weeks ago at the 14-minute mark. Like all of that will be able to be added to your program, which just makes it really, really robust. And also automate your student feedback reviews. So if you do any copy reviews, or like we do when you submit your tech stack for audit, we walk you through how to organize all those feedback reviews on the back end, how to auto assign those feedback reviews to different co-coaches, and how to automatically alert students when the feedback is ready, either through email or through Slack or through Circle, which I know Jasmine does, which looks great. Also setting up a searchable support ticketing system. So how to have a support ticketing system very similar to kind of like the Q&A call database, but people can submit questions and they can get alerted when the support ticket is live. And it just becomes this beautiful searchable database that helps really cover some of the questions, some of the super specific questions that maybe that's not best to put inside of the curriculum, but it's a really great supporting resource to the curriculum. We also walk you through how to use Software, which is a really amazing platform to brand your support ticketing system. So it basically looks like a beautiful like element of your website. And then if you have any one-on-one client calls, any one-on-one coaching calls, we walk you through how to keep track of those calls in Airtable, how to take call notes in Airtable, and then how to automatically send your students follow-up notes without even leaving Airtable at all. So very cool. There's so much inside of this program. That's the core curriculum. We are really, really excited about it. There is no other program that is doing what we do in this program. There's no other program that is teaching you how to use Airtable as in-depth as we do to manage your group program. I wanted to cover some support resources. Samantha says, wow, you really did update things. I sure did. It's incredibly, it's a lot, but we love it. So support resources, you're just going to have one login to our custom curriculum and support portal. So no juggling multiple logins. We use ThriveCart's Learn platform to house everything. So our support ticketing is in there, the support database is in there, everything is just right inside of one place. Our curriculum, we really try to make it as simple and accessible as possible. So this is kind of a view of one of our lessons. You'll see we make it really clear if there's an automation, what the automation should look like, additional details. We strive to be neurodivergent friendly and take accessibility seriously. Our curriculum has short videos, transcripts, captions, and speed controls. So like everything you need, nothing you don't. The core curriculum is around 6 or 7 hours, and each video averages around 7 minutes. If you don't have an application, that cuts out probably like an hour. Here's an example of our 30-day MVP course completion calendar. So what we've done is if I promise you that you can set this up in 30 days, I want to make sure that you have a plan to set it up in 30 days. We have an accelerated completion path that gives you like the must complete tasks to consider the systems live. You can copy this right into your own Airtable, and we walk you through how to do it and how to update it with your own dates. So we say, hey, typically when you start this, you could do these things on day 1, you could do these ones on day 2, and we really tried to space it out and give you ample time. But if you wanted to do a sprint, you could totally move things around, get it done in a week or 2, just like Jasmine did. We, of course, we are such a program of our program. We're a product of our product. We have a support ticketing system. So if you ever get stuck, my team is on standby ready to help. Airtable has a really, really bad support chat. So Airtable is not going to be the resource for you for support. And they also are going to be like, what is a group program? They're like, what are you talking about? So we've got you. So if you are stumped on anything for more than 10 minutes, the good rule of thumb, we just recommend you submit a support ticket, and you can ask us anything. You can ask us basic questions about Airtable. You can ask us how your specific, like somebody mentioned, like, well, I have a 6-month program and they have a 6-month and a year option. How do I make sure that their offboarding dates are set appropriately? All of those different types of questions you can ask us. So you are really supported and you have that high level support. We also, not only do we give you advice on the technical support, we're also here to help you with your systems and your system strategy. So you can use our support ticketing system to also get an extra set of eyes on your program promise, review forms, like forms that you're rolling out to your students, tech stack, all of that. So tech stack consulting, we're going to give you a tech stack rating system, and you can send it to us and we will let you know how automation friendly it is. I'm not going to tell you you have to move everything if that's not where you're at. But what you can do, we can tell you like, hey, here are the limitations of your tech stack. So you just are really clear moving forward what might be manual that could have been automated if you move to a different system. But really, whatever tech that you're on is probably going to work just fine for systems over stress. We also have, this is a new feature too, we have a quarterly tech check systems retreat. So check our onboarding systems is always the last thing on our to-do list, but we like to make it fun. And in these systems run through retreats, your team member will have a dedicated time to test the processes as if they're a student going through it live. So you set up your onboarding form, but then you want to be like, did I, like we haven't had someone go through it in a couple months. And as your program evolves, you'll realize like, oh shit, like our onboarding email, like that thing that we say is no longer relevant anymore. So really just going through the process. And so you just always feel confident that you have like your stuff is up to date. We also have live trainings with guest experts. So we bring in the best in our industry to share their expertise on topics that are going to enhance your group program and get your clients even more results. Our next upcoming live workshop is November 6th, and it's with curriculum expert Vix Meldrew. She's going to be talking about simplifying your curriculum to skyrocket your client results. So if you feel like your curriculum is really robust, maybe too busy, and now that you have a new refined program promise, you're like, shit, this curriculum needs to get updated. She's going to walk us through how to do that easily without it being a huge lift. And for the next 2 days, so because y'all are masterclass exclusive attendees, we're gonna have a bonus for you. So if you join by tomorrow at midnight Pacific time, we are offering a custom client results strategy and onboarding audit. So like I've said, it is so important to be asking the right questions in your onboarding form. And with the right questions in your onboarding form, your testimonials are going to write themselves. Your audience really wants to see an amazing before and after. But oftentimes we just aren't asking our students the right questions to get a clear picture of their starting point in the program. your program is changing their lives so much that they're like, I don't even remember feeling sad. Like they're not going to like be able to give you that great starting point once they've like achieved the program promise. So we really want to get where they're starting from in your onboarding form. So based on your program promise, we will audit your onboarding form. You'll send it to us and we'll tell you exactly the metrics that you should be tracking. And also exactly what you should add to your onboarding form and what you should cut from your onboarding form. So you might have like questions that are just aren't relevant, or it might be too long, and we'll tell you exactly what to add just so you have a really clear picture. And so people are actually going to want to fill it out. And then we will give you those edits to make. And if you and your team are super tech savvy already, someone on the team can make those edits. But you also have the chance for, and we do not do this, we do not do one-on-one implementation in this program. This is the only time we'll do this. You can book a 30-minute call with my team members, and they'll just pull up the form with you live and make those edits and test the form so it's ready for you to go and it's ready for your new clients to fill out. So you'll just feel totally confident that your onboarding form is as strategic as possible and then it's ready to go. And you'll be able to use this data to showcase real client results and make your marketing easier than ever. Jennifer said, is this good for someone without a group coaching program? That's a great question. So it's definitely built for group programs in mind. So group programs, masterminds, memberships. That being said, we have had people who have one-on-one clients, and they're like, okay, I have an onboarding system. I need to onboard my clients. I need to offboard them. I need them to have client results tracking. We have had people do one-on-one clients through the program. So you can totally join and just kind of like know how to translate. Like if Ashley's saying onboarding for group program, how do I translate this for like onboarding my one-on-one clients? And we can walk you through the details of that through the support ticketing system. But there are just some nuances with one-on-one, specifically with like the checkout platforms that you might use and contracts versus invoices. But you could totally join if you don't have a group program. So if you've ever thought, I don't know what I would track, I don't know what to ask, then you really, really need this bonus. So like I said, this is only available to those who are join the masterclass. So that's all of y'all. And it'll be there until the end of Friday. So cart closes for Systems Over Stress next Friday. But if you join by tomorrow, then you do get this bonus as well. Beautiful. Oh yeah, Coley said I am one of those people. It's funny because Coley was one of those people that didn't have a group program, used it for her own one-on-one stuff, and then she was like, oh, I should have a group program. And now she's using it also for her group program as well. We'll get into some frequently asked questions. So if you have any questions, now is a good time to drop those, and I will cover these. I will stay. This is all I've got for the rest of the day. So if you have any questions, if there's some specific things in Airtable you want to see, I'm also happy to share my screen and show those off. So any questions you've had, you can go. I also forgot to mention on any of these slides the price. It's $2,500 for the year, which is like great. So it's $2,500. And it's paying. So there's a pay in full option, and then there is payment plans via like Klarna and Afterpay. So we're trying that out. So if you have any questions on the payment plan stuff, you can definitely let me and my team know. But yeah, it's $2,500 for 12 months. See, so are there any resources for tracking leads during a launch in Airtable? Healy, that's a great question. We don't currently have anything about launch support inside of this program because we are launching a whole other program about how to manage your launches in Airtable. So we don't, but you would be really, it's pretty straightforward to start to see like how you would do that. Like especially once you go through like the Airtable 101 section, you're like, wow, there are so many ways I can use Airtable. And to track leads during a launch, it would just be automating those leads like into a leads table. So any questions that you have about those things, you're welcome to ask us inside of this program, and we can kind of like point you in the right direction as it would apply to like launches for your group program. But there's not like full lessons inside of this program about launch management. All right, more FAQs. So will my existing tech stack work with Airtable? Most of the time, the answer is yes. If it is Zapier compatible, it is going to work with us. If you have any questions about your tech stack before joining the program, like I said, we have that full tech stack audit. But if you have any questions beforehand, you can let us know. Sammy said, it sounds like the program is mostly a self-directed course with some live Q&A. Is that correct? Yes. So we do not have live weekly Q&A calls, and that's a very specific choice. The biggest choice is, as we were scaling, we wanted to say, like, what is the best way for our students to get support? And a live call just isn't it for systems. So we have that support ticketing system that you can use. So regardless of your time zone, you can submit a question. We recommend just like having that up, like we're basically like on your shoulder. If you have questions, you can just submit them. And then within 24, 48 hours, you'll get a response, either a video or written, depending on the best format. We'll be able to walk you through like how to set things up, and then you can ask follow-up questions there. So you have that support. So it is self-directed and self-guided, but you do have a lot of support and support access from me and the team. All right. So another great question people ask is, I've had my program for years and I have a bunch of historical data. Am I too far in? So the answer here is that it really depends. But most of the time, and I will tell you, even I started over when we're launching this new version of Systems Over Stress. So much was changing in terms of our program promise and our onboarding form questions, and just like the course platform we're on. So much was changing that we actually did just start fresh, because oftentimes it's a lot easier. So we started from a new base. We have it simplified, because oftentimes you will have a base that is like has 200 fields when you really only need 20. It can just get really bloated and overwhelming really fast, as people have, like, if you've tried different things, as you're kind of exploring Airtable. So we do recommend you start over, have the most strategic base, and then we walk you through how to import your past data into like your new shiny base. But if you're like, my base is tight, it is clean, you can submit it to us, and then we'll check it out and say like, yeah, you're good to go. Here's like, you can import, here's the things that you could import, but we walk you through how to do that. So next question, I haven't launched my group program yet. Am I too beginner for this? So like I said, not at all. Joining Systems Over Stress helps you really set up a strong systems foundation. And if you're launching in the next 90 days or even the next 30 days, definitely join so you can prepare for the inevitable success of your launch. And we want to, right, like we said, have you have a really strong systems foundation. Can my VA or OBM or admin team member join on my behalf? Yes, and we encourage it. We love delegating here. So you'll have one login to the course platform. And this isn't relevant anymore, but you will have the team members. Let's see. I'm not going to share you that because that's out of date. Yes, you can have people log into your account. So your ops team members can log into your account. You can log into the account and they can set it up on your behalf. They can ask questions on your behalf. And we really recommend that whoever is going to be the one that is going to be like setting up Airtable and running Airtable and managing Airtable in your business is the one going through the program. We tell them, we give them specific advice, and we say like, hey, here's the things you should ask your CEO. Ask them like, hey, here's the onboarding form. What are your thoughts? Can you get final review on strategy? Do not ask them. Do not bother the CEO about like any technical questions. That's for us. So we really make it clear about like what you should ask them and what you should ask, like what the ops team member should ask SOS and what should ask the CEO. But yeah, totally a team member can set it up. The biggest thing to note is, and if you are an ops person, it is one Systems Over Stress account per business. So if you're an ops person and you have 3 different clients, each client needs their own account inside of Systems Over Stress. They need their own license. All right, those were the questions that I had. So like I said, you can join at systemsoverstress.co/SOS. Join by Friday to get to that onboarding audit bonus. But I will be here. I know Sammy wants to see the Airtable setup. I'll definitely share that. And let me see what the questions are. So Natasha said, I do mostly one-on-one. I've been trying to figure out how to build a CRM and Airtable to track my clients. Sounds like this would help me do that. Yeah. Question, is it possible to create an automation to track how many sessions a student has left in their package? Oh, yes. Oh my God. This is the fucking questions that I love. Okay, let's see. What do you want to do? This is like my favorite things is like, can it do this? And I'm like, yes, it can do it so easily. Let's see. Is it possible to create an automation to track how many sessions a student has left in their package if I were to connect a meeting scheduler that puts the appointment in my Google Calendar? What if they need to reschedule? All of that. You already have a system for this, but I'm curious if I could ditch it and still get the best of the features that I use. It depends on the tech that you have, because mostly the answer is yes. Mostly the answer is yes, because we have a full call hub that we like walk you through how to set up. So basically all your calls can get automated into Airtable. And then if you know, like, let's say Ashley is your client, she gets 10 calls. Then every call that she books counts to her, like gets associated with her account. Then you can say, okay, Ashley's booked 3 out of the 10 calls, so there's 7 left. she's booked 4 out of the 10 calls, but one of them she canceled. So you can kind of play with that. There's so many different ways you can do it. So the answer is absolutely yes. And so that's where, like, if you do that for one-on-ones, this program is going to totally help you do that. Coley said starting with a clean base is tempting. Yes. Yeah. And any alumni that are here, I know there's some in the chat. We are going to send you details on like an alumni discount. So you can hit us up for that, or we'll reach out to you soon. But yeah, cool. I think that's everything. Oh yeah, let me show you the back end. So total Airtable newbie, does Airtable directly integrate with anything, or is it all Zapier? I'm trying to streamline as much as possible. That's a great question, and that I can get into sharing Airtable. So we do recommend that you still keep Zapier, and you can still streamline as much as possible, but Zapier is one of the pieces of tech that we really, really recommend that you have, mostly because, and it totally depends on the tech that you use for your course platform and all of those things. You don't have to rely on Zapier 100%. And we actually, our official advice is to use Airtable as much as possible and use Zapier as little as possible, because of Zapier's pricing. Zapier works on like a per task basis. So as the more that you have, the more tasks that run in Zapier, the more you're going to pay. Airtable has a way friendlier like automation limit. So we help you strategize like how much you can put into Airtable and what you can do in Zapier. So I hope that answers your question. But let me stop my share. How was this, y'all? How are y'all feeling? I haven't checked. Let's see. I'm going to share my Airtable now. I'm going to share the template that you get, just so you can see what it's going to start to look like. Oh my gosh. I just looked at our Slack and I'm seeing people joining. Thanks, y'all. That's very exciting. Very excited to have you. All right. Template. Wow, you guys are going to get a vulnerable. I'm going to share the back end of Airtable with you. My Airtable, which is not that organized. The bases are organized, but you'll see. Okay. Beautiful. So this is the back end of Airtable. If you've never seen it, looks like this. Each one of these is a base. So your group offer hub is a base. So what happens here is we only have 4/5 tables if you have applications. It's very simple. If you've been in my programs before, you might be like, Ashley, where are the like 20 other tables that you have? And we've really streamlined it, because what we've found is that if we give you everything inside of the Airtable template, you're going to get really overwhelmed, and you're going to be afraid to delete things, and you're going to be afraid to move things around. So what we want to make sure that you have is, we want you to have the basics, and then we want you to be able to grow with it. So it might look basic, but that's very strategic and it's very purposeful. So the first thing we have is your primary student record. So this is a table. So when your student joins, you're going to have, they're automatically going to get a record created inside of the primary student record. So that's going to bring in things like their first name, their last name, their email, their status, their initial payment amount. So that'll help us create your payment logs, their start date, their initial days of program access. And then we also give you fields like resign days, how many resign days, any special circumstances. So if you give them an additional 90 days of access for maternity leave or something like that, you have these really clear fields. And those fields are going to start to help you add an end date, if that makes sense. So you'll see like this person is expiring October 7th, 2025, all that. So you have all of this. So you can open up somebody's record and you can see all of the details pertaining to that person. You can have comments, you can see revision history. There's just a lot you can do here. You can add notes, and you'll see this looks most like a spreadsheet. For anybody who hasn't been in Airtable before, this is called a grid view. Looks most like a spreadsheet, but it's way, way, way more robust. The other things that we have here are these fields they're linked records fields. So this is Ashley Payment Plan Test's onboarding form. So if you click open this, you see all of the answers from her onboarding form. So this is what I'm talking about. Like this is the inside, the behind the scenes look of when we say you have a centralized place where everything lives. That's what this looks like. So we've got that there. So we've got their onboarding form. Their payment plan projections are linked to them. Their bonus delivery is linked to them. So you've got that. So not only do you have this one grid view, you can have a bunch of different views, which is really nice. So you can see here are active clients who haven't filled out their onboarding form yet. So this is filtered to say the status is active, onboarding form is empty. So there's so many different ways you can create views to just kind of see exactly the people that you need to see to get answers. Let's see. You can also do calendar views. So like the grid view and the grid view and the calendar, it's all the same data. So you can see that these are these people's offboarding dates. So just like lots of different ways to visualize data without having to like create, like duplicate different Airtable, like duplicate different spreadsheets, like do all these different views, right? Next up, we've got your payments and monthly recurring revenue table. So what this is you'll see, this is like so attractive. This is grouped by students. So you can see this is Ashley when she bought. She's got her order date here. So from October to February of next year, here's all of her payments. You have the payment status of received, but then all the future ones are projected. So you can group and see like, okay, we've received 3 out of 5 of Ashley's payments. So you can group by student, but then you can also group by month and year. So you can see, okay, in 2023, I'm expecting in October $3,000. In November, I'm expecting 500. So you can see automatically your monthly recurring revenue. This is huge, 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 huge. If you don't have this, like it is so important to know these types of things about your business. And Airtable makes it just so easy to organize and stay organized. Next up is your onboarding form. So you can also do forms right inside of Airtable. So no Google Forms, for the love of God. And let's see. So we've got your onboarding form. So you'll see there's specific questions that you'll be able to adjust. There's different field types. So it looks like it's pretty standard form, but then you have the grid view on the back. But y'all, here's where things get wild. Is that data lives in your grid view, but this is what's called an interface. And we walk you through how to set this up in the program. This is an onboarding trends dashboard. So this is pulling all of the onboarding forms together and saying, okay, here's the lowest program price, here's the highest program price, the average program price is this. So all of this stuff you will be able to visualize. So you're actually being able to use the data that you're collecting from your students. So this is the power of what Airtable lets you do. This is the stuff that you can use in your marketing, you can use to make your curriculum better, right? You can really start to understand like who is joining the program. So you're also able to do that right inside of Airtable. Notion could never. One day I'll stop being salty about Notion. The next up, we have your bonus delivery. So this is a very simple automation. So like when they join, like let's say they join during a certain time, if they join between October 9th and 20th, for example, they would get their custom program promise plan. Those bonuses would be automatically created and tracked here. So you can like really keep things organized. And then we've got, if you do applications, we have an application section where you can keep track of applications, but then also set it up to auto accept or reject depending on criteria, like I mentioned. So that's what the back end of Airtable looks like. And then you have your automations as well. So someone asked, like, can I get off of Zapier? We totally want you to use Airtable as much as you can. There's so many different automations that you can do inside of Airtable. For example, that one where we said like the webinar bonus automation, when a record matches a condition where their start date is between the 19th and the 21st, create a record and bonus delivery. So like that's the type of stuff that we're going to be able to do. Let me see. And you can name them. Of course, I just didn't name them in this. Where's my automations? Okay, here we go. Cool. So this is a cool one. So like with the application, so we're saying if there's a record created in the application, so a new application is received, and their revenue is less than 50,000, then send them an email saying, hey, you're not qualified, yada, yada, yada. We also walk you through how to use ChatGPT to like make these sound nicer than you would on your own. So it sends them an email on your behalf. And then it also updates their status to rejected. So it can auto accept, it can auto reject. And then if there's some people that you want to manually review, it can also help you manually review. So those are just some of the ways that you can use it to really like run your group program. Let me see some of the questions. So I think that was Sammy that wanted to see that. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see there. See, someone said, when creating the primary student record in the group offer hub, is that primary record connected to every other hub, say the sales hub, et cetera, or is it created? That's a great question. So it is, we don't have the sales hub inside of, we don't teach the sales hub inside of Systems Over Stress anymore. It's just, this is a way more simplified version. But I can tell you've been in this world before. You can sync things out, so you can sync it to other bases. So like the way that it's set up, just for simplicity's sake, it doesn't currently like sync or connect to other bases. However, it can with something called synced tables with Airtable. Natasha said, I just got Pabbly to get away from Zapier, but Zapier has more integration, so I have to still use it some. Pabbly sucks. Pabbly, sorry, that was like not kind. Pabbly, I have found that there's limitations with Pabbly. And the biggest thing, I don't want you to ever feel limited with your database and with your automation software. The whole thing is that this thing is supposed to automate everything for you. And so I don't want you to hit a cap with Pabbly. And that's what I've seen with Pabbly, specifically with Airtable stuff. It just does really weird things. Like it won't let you like, this is very nuanced, but like it won't let you just put a linked record ID inside of like to update a table inside of Pabbly with Airtable. Like there's like specific issues that we've run into in the past where we used to say like, yeah, maybe you could use Pabbly, but then when we've had students do it, it's so much like harder than it needs to be if you didn't use Zapier. So oftentimes people want to move off of Zapier because of the pricing. We walk you through how to keep your Zap tasks low by one, auditing the automations that you have in there and seeing if you really need them and how to just get your Zap tasks down. But I found the answer isn't to move off of Zapier. It's just to either be really strategic about the Zaps that you have. And then also if you are hitting a time where you're spending $40, $50 a month or more on Zapier, that you have like made it so streamlined and so lean that you are excited about like upgrading your Zap account because like you're like, oh shit, my business is growing, I'm scaling, like that's great. Like we want you to make sure that you feel really good about that software and the payments that you have there. But Pabbly, we've just found has been more effort than it's worth for saving a few dollars with moving off of Zapier. If there's something that you like about Pabbly more that I don't know, then I'm happy to talk about it, but that's typically what we found. Meg said, if we want to use Airtable to build a social media content library, can we ask questions about that in SOS? Meg, you can. We are happy to review it, at least right now. That's like out of scope of like this program. And we wouldn't like ever create curriculum on it. But if you have some questions that are like, hey, I'm trying to figure out how to do this thing. Like I'm trying to figure like, can you point me in the right direction? We're happy to do that. But I will say when we launch our, we're launching a launch hub group program that's going to walk you through like how to use Airtable for like content repurposing and for launch management and all of that. So yeah, if there's someone said I can recommend a great one. If you can recommend a content, yeah, if there's another Airtable expert that uses I know Karanda has like a content system there. So we won't totally cover it, but it depends on what questions you have about it. Oh yeah, Karanda has one. Yeah. Beautiful. Any other questions before we hop off? This was very fun. Thanks, y'all. I'm stoked. Love seeing these sales come in. So if you are thinking about joining or if you have any questions, you can shoot us an email or you can also DM me on Instagram at Systems Over Stress. I'll be there. And we're super excited to welcome you. If you join today, you'll get everything, obviously. Then you can like just submit your onboarding form to us right away and we can review that and you can get that like done and set up like next week. Like it'll help you get that great momentum started. So up to y'all, but we would absolutely love if you're joining. You might as well join over the next day or so you can get that. Let's see, someone said, can most of this be set up on the free tier of Airtable and then upgrade? Yes, absolutely. You can start on the free plan and then you can grow. One of the biggest things is from the free plan to the team plan is just space. So it's like record limit or like record limit, and like some of the forms, like you can't brand forms on the free plan, but you can definitely get started. And when you're like, I can't live without this, you'll be able to upgrade for sure. Cool. Awesome, y'all. Well, thank you so much for your time. We've had an amazing time. Love seeing these sales come in. Cannot wait to continue to support you. And we hope to see you inside Systems Over Stress.
Wait, question.
Yes.
Thank you.
Go.
I can't type that fast. So I noticed you said you used Thrivecart Learn for the program, right? And you said you've got like your community and everything in there now?
Yeah, we don't really have like a community necessarily.
Okay.
So what we do have is we use something called Hiver, which is like a commenting.
Okay, yeah,
like,
no, I know what that is. I'm in
Yep.
Dama's program, so she uses it too.
Yeah, so we just found like we don't use, like we had Circle, and once we implemented the support ticketing system, I was like, shit, this is a better format for our students than a Circle group, for example.
Yeah, like I'm using Discord right now for my membership and I'm not liking it. So I'm thinking about moving away to something else, like where I can have like support in that way.
Yep.
The second question related to the Thrivecart bit. So clearly you've got your Airtable directly, like does Airtable directly connect to Thrivecart? I should know the answer to that, but I don't.
It doesn't. We use Zapier.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You can technically use like, you can do some scripting and get like Airtable to talk to Thrivecart, but we do it in Zapier.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Great. Coley, we're going to switch that affiliate link right after this. Well, I think, yeah, we'll switch right after this. Cool. Anyone else? Feel free to pop off mute. Any like big takeaways anyone has? Any wins? Any ahas? Beautiful. Simi, I see you came in right at the end.
I'm like, I could just come off. I'm still wearing my glasses. Sorry, I was driving and so interested. I didn't even take them off. Yeah, I need to do those interfaces. And they're the bonuses. Yeah.
The bonus delivery.
Yes.
Yeah.
That looked amazing.
Yeah. I'm just like, and that was something that I was like, when I was thinking about what's required and what's not, I was like, no, that's a requirement, because all of us pretty much have some type of bonus delivery, and it's just so hard, especially when like people don't claim their bonuses. And sometimes I think it's because like we forget, like we like give them one email, it's like schedule your free one-on-one that we promised you, but then they don't, and then they like their time is up in the program and they still didn't use it, and they come back and they're like, hey, can I use this? And it just becomes like a lot. It becomes like a big scavenger hunt to figure out like who was promised what during what launch, because we change our bonuses, of course, all the time. And so it's fun to have that in there.